south of Scruffy.
I don't smoke cigars very often. It's my first time. Oh, that smells great.
Oh, that's a really good cigar. So, enjoy it.
You're not supposed to inhale them, right?
I mean, you know, not unless you want.
Get a freebie?
I mean, I say fuck it. Take a chance. Columbus did, you know? Who gives a fuck?
Did you say this was Kennedy's favorite cigar?
Mm-hmm.
Which one? JFK?
Yes, yeah.
How'd you find out that it was his favorite?
I don't know. One of those things, you know, one of those days you just reading or, you know, just that useless shit. You can find out stuff, you know. Just, I don't know. I Googled it. I don't know what I did.
Found out that was his fave?
Is there going to be a fucking pop quiz on this or something in the morning? I mean, what is this?
If there is, I'm going to be ready for it.
Yeah.
I'm going to have my Mike McGill knowledge going.
You'll not get beat if you've got that going for you, pal.
It does smell great, and I'm not a huge cigar guy, so I'm glad you brought this.
Yeah.
A couple guys in Santa suits smoking cigars.
Hey,
looks
why
like
not?
a bank heist over here. So.
Yeah. You got the stuff?
Yeah.
I got the money.
Mike, I was just thinking, you look damn good.
Hey, thanks, man. I feel good, you know? I'm not like all freaked out. Not really, but I don't know.
Just trying to be smart, be responsible, do the right thing.
I guess so. Are we live?
Sam, we live?
We are.
Sweet. Well, this is our first podcast that's had video along with it.
Nice. I love that.
I do too.
I hope it all goes well, and you know, I can't remember really. Well, I do remember the last time we sat with a piece of glass in front of us.
Was that the second time I bailed you out?
Yeah, it was that time in Chino, you know, and after the petting zoo incident.
Yeah, I remember the pet.
If you folks don't know, I was covered in salt, and Ben looked confused, and I just kept remembering to myself, you know, who's the real victim here?
I love a good callback, man.
Yeah.
So you were episode number 5.
Yeah.
I think that's right. So 5 and 50.
Did I say that on then?
You did.
God, I got to get a new writer.
You're
I got to hire some new material.
Oh, I thought you were referencing what you said last time.
Oh,
no, this is just your...
Sure I was. Sure I was. Of course I was.
For the devotees out there.
Dumb. Yeah.
But that was... The pandemic wasn't a thing last time you were here. You were one of the last ones where it wasn't, we weren't aware of it.
Yeah, no, we were, that's right, because my mother, well, I had gotten very sick in January and had been sick for, I don't know, like 3 weeks. And the doctor, and you know, I went to the doctor, as I was telling you earlier, before the show, you know, I hadn't been to a doctor in like 12 or 15 years, something like that. I just don't go, you know, I've been, you know, lucky enough. I've been blessed, fortunate, lucky, whatever you want to call it. You know,
Pretty gutsy move though, Mike. Not going to the doctor, you know.
Well,
Getting
I mean,
a physical every now and then. Making sure, you know, because they can catch something.
Well, I had a good friend that one of my best friends, his special lady friend, dude.
Yeah.
Is a doctor.
Okay.
So
you had the inside track.
if I need, yeah, you know, but
anytime you had a rash, you need to get looked at.
I don't know about rashes. Now you're just pissing me off. Don't start that. It's too early.
Headaches.
We got Santa suits on. We're supposed to be a happy time of year. Video, and everybody gets to see us now.
Hey, so the reason we have these suits on, at least why I think we have them on, is because you're going to get to wear this thing. First off, I want to make sure you could still find it, knew where it was at the house.
Yeah,
before,
I'm glad you did.
Before the lights come on Friday.
Yes.
The 18th.
The 18th. correct.
So the spectacular, is the Mike McGill Christmas Spectacular, right?
It is, and we just got. Actually, my phone's out in the car, but we just got the artwork back for it today from my good buddy Chad Husky, who's done all the posters throughout the 8 years that we've been doing it. This is year 8.
Wow.
So yeah, it's a Mike McGill Christmas Spectacular, a solo extravaganza, if you will.
Just you.
Just me.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
different, right?
Totally different.
Yeah.
Really, really different. I mean, because when this thing first started, it was back. When was the Mayan thing? They said the world was going to end.
You told me this last time you were here.
Yeah.
It was like 2012 or whatever.
Right.
And Rodney came up to you.
Right.
Yeah, at Barley's.
Right.
Yeah.
So I keep referencing that because I keep thinking about that actually being the first one, but it wasn't. It wasn't anything to do with Christmas. It was just.
It's just the thing.
I guess, it's the end of the world. It could be whatever we wanted it to be,
Sure. Yeah.
Are we still here now?
Yeah. Looks like it.
So yeah, we did that, and but it's totally. It's kind of weird too because as humans, we're like we always want to compare, You just broke up with Susie Chapstick. Now you got a new one coming along, but then this one's different. But she's going to be somewhere, somehow, some way. Probably going to compare the two.
Sure.
Or so and so used to,
Yeah.
Helen used to do this. Now Susie Chapstick don't do it, but she's showing signs. And the same thing with the girls. We got there's Jimmy Lipper. We just got rid of Jimmy Lipper, had to tell him to step off. But now he's going to come back, and now we got Danny Destructo. And, but we compare them all the time.
Sure.
So I think it's just kind of what we do. And this is absolutely no comparison with what it used to be. I mean, because
a lot different this time.
Totally different. Last time, obviously the biggest difference, we were in front of a live crowd. Second is that we had usually anywhere between 8 to 11 guests
that came up and played with you.
That came up and sang. We had the house band, and so what we would do is I'd send a notice out to everybody that I had thought about that either made mention they wanted to do it
Sure.
or I wanted to be a part of it. I'd send something out to them and
little APB for everybody who wanted to get involved.
I think more just an invitation, a personal invitation, and so we would do that, and then those folks would come in and they would pick their song, pick the key, pick the style they wanted to do it in, because most of them were covers.
Yeah.
There would be a few originals, but then I'd put all that together and then send it to the guys. We'd chart it, learn it, get it all done. We'd have one rehearsal, one run through, and then boom, it was showtime.
Yeah, so learn it all on your own, and then a dress rehearsal.
And go.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So with the COVID, that has totally ixnayed all of that.
Yeah.
Can't do that anymore.
Yeah, we can't. So where's the show?
Well, the show is going to be held. We originally.
I think when you and I talked about, when did we talk? Maybe 2 weeks ago, something like that. I think it was, you were talking about.
Honestly, I've tried to forget, but.
I don't blame you. You're talking about the Bijou.
Yes, we had done it. We had partnered with Barley's all those years, and was doing great. And the show, I was talking to Steve Wildsmith the other day, and who is somebody you need to have on this show.
That
guy is. He's
a lot
phenomenal.
of people have told me that.
He's an amazing guy.
I've heard,
and
he's got to be,
and he's got. I'm sure he's got story after story, and he's just a good guy, you know?
Yeah.
He's just a good guy. But
That's what I hear from everybody who says his name. And do you know, to be honest,
he's a gem, man.
you were the person who hipped me to him. I didn't know who.
Oh, really?
I'd never registered his name before. Mm-hmm. And then it's, you know, one of those things, after you know something, you start noticing it everywhere.
Right.
It's called the Bader-Meinhof phenomenon is what it's called. And it's this phenomenon where I read up a lot on this phenomenon.
I got rid of that one time with an ointment.
Yeah, usually the antibiotic does better, but it's when you're aware of something, it shows up everywhere after that, right? And after you mentioned Steve Wildsmith to me last time you were here, you were talking about an article that he had written about you after maybe the Drunk Uncles had split or something like that.
Yeah.
And you'd mentioned his name, and I went and started to look him up and all that. And then Will Wright came in here, and he mentioned Steve Wildsmith, and a bunch of other artists have come in, a bunch of other musicians, and have mentioned him. And I've dug into his work, and man, he's definitely one that needs to sit in that chair at some point.
He's a phenomenal writer. He's a phenomenal guy, and he's just been. I can only speak for myself. I think I could probably speak for Will too, because I know they have a close relationship. But he's just helped so many artists.
Really?
I mean, he's just by writing forwards or, you know, or liner notes or quotes or stories. I mean, he's given me a front page story in the Blount County Times every year.
Really?
You know, for this thing. I mean, he's just been super duper.
An advocate
great guy.
for what you guys are doing.
Yeah, totally.
An enabler.
Yeah, totally.
Of the arts.
And of the best way.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So we had done it with Barley's all those years, and of course this came up, the COVID, and basically getting back to what you were talking about, I was here in February. My mother went in the hospital on January 14th and got out on the February 25th.
She was in the hospital when you were here, and
Yes.
you were.
I had just came from the hospital.
You were in a little bit of a bad way. It seemed like you were worried about it. I mean, you were still able to be you, but it's. I could tell it was bothering you a lot.
Well, it was, and because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it was either that next day or the coming day or the day after, she was going to have to go in for surgery to remove fluid and stuff from her lungs. And of course, she's 82.
Yeah.
81 at the time.
People at 81, 82 don't need to be going under the knife that often. That's it's just an opportunity for something to happen.
Yeah,
you know?
no doubt. But so I left the hospital knowing I had to come here, and I wanted to come here. I almost canceled, and I was just like, no, I'm not gonna let that.
Thank you.
I'm not gonna let that take away, because I've been a listener and a supporter of podcasts for a while, and not only this one but others as well. Yeah. And I love the concept of people just talking. There doesn't have to be anything real, you know, whatever. You know, we're here for a thing, but we could also just be here to talk,
right?
Which is what we're doing.
Yeah, and probably what we'll do 95% of the time.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
But it's cool. I think I was talking to the guy that was here last week about podcasts. William Wild, Garrett Sale is his name, and we were talking about how we feel like the podcast. There's two kind of big tent poles that keep the podcast thing going, and that's people with all the bullshit. TikTok, hold the camera right here. Here's how I look. Make sure it looks great. The plastic part of what you see from all your buddies and everybody else every day.
Right.
People miss the real. People miss.
Well, how else are we going to get it?
This is a great way to do that.
now.
This is a great way to do it, right?
Absolutely.
And then the second part of it is it's a way that you can passively take in content. So you can be driving in your car listening to a podcast. You can't be driving in your car watching TikTok. You shouldn't be.
No.
But it's kind of in a segment of.
Bitch about run me over doing it the other day.
I bet she's probably filming one.
Probably. I don't know what she's doing.
So barley's for all those years, but this year,
Yeah,
different
so
story.
when I left the hospital, I went and had a couple of drinks and came here, did the thing, when the announcement of COVID came out, and I guess what I was getting at was, luckily she got out right
Your
before
mom.
it really got
That's where we
bad.
were, yeah.
Yes, my
Yeah.
mother, and but when it started. I had actually seen a guy who was with the University of Minnesota on the Joe Rogan podcast.
The infectious disease guy?
Yeah, the detective
Yeah,
guy.
I forget his name. Sam probably knows his name.
I can't remember it either, but I had watched that, and when he said we're conservatively estimating 250,000 deaths, I was just like,
yeah.
What?
That guy seems like he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah,
And that's a big ass number.
Yeah, and
It's almost 1% of our population.
yeah, let that sink in.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, I don't know. But when I seen that, we had a gig booked that week for Boyd's Jig and Reel. That March 20th was my first date back after Christmas. I usually take January, February off. I usually go to Hawaii.
Yeah.
And then do all that, and then, or I have the last few years.
I ran into you on the way back from Hawaii one time. I think we talked about that.
I was looking at that Kona Brewing Company thing on your toolbox there. I was like, yeah, that's where we did.
Yeah.
Any rate, all that came about, and I remember calling the general manager there, Gina, and I was like, has the health department said anything about, have they done anything about
closing
regulations or how you're going to handle food or how you're going to be able to serve? And I mean, it was as if a UFO had just landed. She had no idea. I mean,
Really?
and that's not
not bad
a
on
slam on her,
Right.
By no means, because Gina's a wonderful lady.
Yeah, I really like Gina a lot.
She's a sweetheart.
Yes.
And I was just like, well, Gina, I can't do it. I was like,
So you canceled.
I canceled then.
Weren't going to contribute to part of the problem.
I just wasn't going to be part of the problem. So all that year, the whole year leading up to where we're at now, I was just like, what are we going to do? What am I going to do? How am I going to get this show off? And so one day where I'm working on a little project there that I'd been doing at the house, and I said, who was it? I believe it was Trisha Jean Brady who said something about she had a friend in East Nashville who they were starting to use one of the theaters there to do live performances and stream it.
And it was empty.
And it was empty, but they were trying to get into the streaming in that world. And still try to, give some people some entertainment, maybe make a little pocket change for the performers, for the artists and stuff. So she went to Tom Bug and talked to him, who's over the Bijou.
He's a tall guy at the Bijou? Dark-headed guy?
Maybe. I don't know. I think he spells his name B-U-G-G. That's about all I know of it.
Okay.
I've never personally met him. I probably have met him in passing and just didn't know. But
he's kind of the mascot for me. He's the one that does the marquee and just kind of all the other stuff.
Yeah, he's been there from what I understand, he's been there for a long
100
years.
years.
Yeah, he came with the building.
Yeah.
But so I had seen a thing on Facebook where she was going to be doing a performance.
At the Bijou?
At the Bijou. Well,
a live streamed one or an audience?
A live streamed event at the Bijou, and they were allowing 25 people in at a time at this particular point in time. And this was back in, I want to say it was back in October.
Okay. So not too terribly long
late
ago.
September, early October. Yeah.
So probably part of that, probably part of the phase where we tried to go back to normal as much as we could. And
So in the process of finding that out, I knew a girl named Courtney Bergmeyer who works at the Bijou, who I used to be neighbors with. I knew her when she worked at the coffee shop at WDV at the visitor center. You know, met her when she had just pretty much started school, and just we had became great friends.
Sure.
You know, and she had went to school, worked for AC, did all that stuff, and then landed the job that she went to school to do at the Bijou in her hometown. Yeah, I mean, it was a great story.
That's pretty great.
Pretty incredible, you know, like, so I just sent her a text and said, hey, I hear you guys are going to start doing shows at the Bijou, you know, with a limited audience, but you're going to be streaming and you're trying to get into that. So I said it might be a perfect place to do the spectacular.
Yeah.
And like 2 seconds, she writes back, I was just thinking the same thing. And I was
great.
like, all right, so this was supposed to be.
Yeah.
So we talk, we do our thing, we're listening. So we were talking about, at the time, they were doing 25 people. Getting back to Tom, he had went and gotten a grant and put in the thing, the antiseptic spritzer thing for the HVAC system.
So air purification stuff.
Right, and then did the also did the they did during that whole renovation they also did touchless sinks and toilets and the whole deal.
So he got a grant and then went and made some COVID-safe improvements to the
Correct.
venue.
So that made me feel really good.
Sure.
So
that they're leaning into it. They realize this is going to be a thing.
Well, yeah, and it's nothing that's really going to be ending anytime soon.
Sure.
You know, so it's like, you know, it's that other thing of, well, you either adapt, you overcome, or you evolve, or you
ignore it.
Or you ignore it, and then some kid 30 years from now is going to find your bones in a fucking tar pit and go, oh, well, there's one of those dummies Mr. Johnson was talking about in science class last week. You know, it's like, I mean, what do you do? Yeah. You gotta try, man. I mean, yeah, and that goes back to that whole comparison thing. You know, you can't. It's a new deal.
Yeah, we as a production company, we had to think about that when it first came up. We had 3 roads we could have taken.
What do we do now?
Leaned into it. You know, we could have ignored it. Mm-hmm. You know, or we could have behaved as usual. And we decided to lean into it, and it was probably one of the smartest things as a company we ever did. Because the second the shutdown happened, we started saying, okay, this is probably going to be the new way. And even if it's not, it's probably good for us to start thinking about this anyhow. And it became
bingo.
And we were ready.
Yeah.
We were ready when production came back. Good
for you.
Yeah. It wasn't my decision.
Yeah.
It was somebody a lot smarter than me's decision.
Thank God.
Yeah.
I mean, not that I really needed clarification.
They make a lot of those motherfuckers.
But good for you nonetheless. I mean, because really, you know, that was one of the things that I remembered the disease detective talking about was this is not going to be a season. This is going to be much more.
Right.
You know, this is going to be...
This will be a metaphorical season that lasts a couple of years.
Correct. And so, you know, and I don't get too caught up. You know, I don't run around with a fucking pot and pan on my head or aluminum foil or none of that shit. I mean, but I do know when, you know, if somebody credible with that big of an audience is taking time to have someone on that is qualified, that knows what the hell they're talking about, well, maybe, dum-dum, you should listen.
Yeah.
And
credibility.
Yeah. You know, so
and it's pretty much happened that way, right?
Pretty much
the way that he laid it out.
I mean, yeah, we're past that number. Yeah.
Are we really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. I mean, I don't mean to. act like I'm some kind of expert on it, because I certainly am not. But yeah, I mean, we're either very close or we're
past that
it.
conservative number.
Yes.
That he put out there.
Yes. So during all this, that really made me feel good. And I thought
that the Bijou was leaning into it.
That they were leaning into it, and that they were talking about, and they were doing one every Friday night. And so that meant audio, video, and they were basically the friends of the Bijou. So you're like your first 25 or 35 people were getting in.
Yeah, your board members.
Right. And that kept because their egress areas are so small, obviously if they're in the theater, you could have more than that.
Yeah.
Probably.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't because of the size of the theater. It was because of the common areas.
Right. Exactly.
And the Bijou's so small.
Correct.
Got it.
And so they were really trying to be on top and doing what the CDC was saying and suggesting, and really being conscious about it. So, and during all this stuff, just in my opinion, as Johnny Majors would say, God rest his soul.
God, I love it.
I know it. In my opinion, I thought it was something that was has been underutilized by companies and by people who have business, to let people know that, hey, we are doing everything we can.
Yeah.
And I think that helps you. I think that would just help them in the long run of trying, your stores, your grocery stores, your whatever. I mean, hey, we've got an extra crew. We're doing this.
Yeah, I think it helps
that.
you. It helps you more than it hurts you, because you still have the people who have a lot of disdain for, wearing masks and, being safe and all that. But I think that those folks are pretty well in the minority. So being safer rather than not is not going to offend that many people.
Right.
But it's going to help you a whole lot.
Well, I mean, if somebody told you, okay, young Ben, I can improve your chances on catching brown trout by 60%.
Yeah,
You're gonna do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
You ain't gonna be no dummy.
Yeah,
you're gonna try it.
Yeah.
Especially if the guy knows pretty much. He's just not ordered a bunch of shit out of LL Bean, but he's got them on the wall, or he's got a freezer full of them, or he's got an outfitter. You know what I mean? I mean.
Yeah, you're going to listen to that guy.
You're going to listen, and you're going to try it, because it's going to do nothing but do better for you.
Yeah.
So I thought that was one of the things with a lot of businesses that I just couldn't understand, that they weren't pushing that fact. And then to know that we were getting the Bijou shot, which was where I've originally wanted this show from day one.
Yeah.
I've wanted it there.
Well, you've had a big enough crowd at Barley's to put at the Bijou.
We've had a consistent 400 to 500 paying people every year.
Yeah, which puts you. That's pretty much the whole. That's the whole floor.
Yeah,
of
that's
the
the
Bijou.
floor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's 800 seat or something
Total.
like that, or 700, something like that. Yeah, total. But so
you get your shot.
So you get your shot, and I've performed on that stage, and it's a magical place, and it's a really great. I've been fortunate enough actually to play there 3 different times, but knowing that we had started this, and as Steve was saying, this is in our little interview thing that we did this time around. He's just like, well, I dare say this has just gotten way bigger than you.
That's great.
And I'm like, yeah, it's way bigger than me. I mean, way bigger than I could have ever thought about. I mean, we've provided almost 20,000 meals.
Right, through Second Harvest, right?
First through Second Harvest for the kids,
Is this year's live stream going to do the same? Or are you going to have to figure out something else?
Well, no.
I mean, you have to figure out a way to get money for it.
We're going to have a
first.
link.
Yeah.
There'll be a, you click to watch it, and in the comments or in the whatever, it's going to be, we'll treat it as a
telethon,
as an event.
Yeah.
So we'll send out, it'll be like in a public event, how it'll come across being advertised to people.
Yeah.
And then so you click to watch it, and then there'll be a link for the Bijou, or there'll be a link for Second Harvest, and then I'm also putting a link down there for the Bijou. Good. Because they were kind enough, after weeks of deliberation, and the one thing I can say great about Courtney and Tom and all of them over there with the whole staff is everything I was thinking they were thinking. We were on the same page every time through our thought process of what we were going to do. And, and it finally hit me. It was like, well, you've not went anywhere. You've not done nothing because you're caretaking for your parents. And you followed every rule basically the best you can. And now you're going to try to convince people to come out and see you?
Yeah.
Well, that's not the right reason.
Yeah. You were trying to get people to come?
Well,
25?
They were having 25, and they were hoping, before the last big number spiked, they were hoping to have maybe let 50 in for the Christmas thing.
Yeah.
Because it was a one-off.
Sure.
It's Christmas.
And numbers are going down.
It's Christmas.
Yeah.
You know, so, but that's, and finally, I think both of us, their camp and mine, just realized that, what if, God forbid, but what if one person and then.
Yeah, super spreader.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, they're dying to see Mike McGill.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you don't want that.
Which there ain't nothing funny about that.
Yeah, but. Yeah.
So, so we decided to do that, to cancel that. So in the process, long story, I know, sue me. A friend of mine, Al Braden. I don't know if you know Al or not.
I do.
He's run sound for years all over town.
I do.
I've known Al for 20 years probably.
Al provided my 30th birthday party in Hot Springs, North Carolina, with sound equipment and an engineer at the stage at Hot Springs, North Carolina.
There you go.
He sent me a guy and all his gear and everything. We had a badass time. That's how I met Al.
Well,
he's his mixer, or the in-house guy at Barley's for a long time, right?
Correct. Yeah.
So he hit you up, and you guys.
Well, I had ran into to a mutual friend of ours, and he goes, yeah, I had to come by. He said he was dropping something off for me, and he said, yeah, I had to come up this way anyway. I was meeting Al, and I was like, have him call me. This was before I knew anything about the Bijou, because I knew Al had a warehouse, and that that if it all was possible, we could stage a shot.
Oh yeah.
And he's got the sound, and now Steve Corrigan. I don't know if you know Steve, Scuba Steve.
Know the name.
Great drummer, and just a greater guy, but. He has gotten into the video side of all of it.
Cool.
And works with and for maybe Al. They're left hand, right hand. They're
So they're starting to understand that the world's changing too.
Yeah.
And you need to be able to provide the video side for it for these musicians who can't go up on a stage.
Correct. So so after that all fell apart
with the Bijou. Yeah.
However you want to say it, serendipitously or whatever, any other 6-syllable word you can think of. Al calls finally.
Yeah.
And I like tell him everything and catch him up to speed, and he's like, "Oh, hell, we'll shoot it here. It's no problem. We'll
at his warehouse.
We'll live stream it. We'll shoot it here. We'll stage it. We'll do everything we need to do. I've got pipe and drape, and we'll set it up, and we'll make it look real nice. So.
If y'all need any help, let me know.
Yeah, well, we may. Yeah, for sure.
That's because I believe in the cause, man.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a great cause. I mean,
So so it'll still benefit Second Harvest. It's just at a different different venue than the Bijou. Okay. And it's going to be you and a live band or just you?
Just me. I mean, I figured why do a live band? I had the band set up. I'd talked to the guys. I'd told them all the precautions the Bijou had taken. But I did also still address it as, this is a risk. Yeah. And you got to know this up front.
Yeah, and you can do what you can do. You can go get tests at $125 a whack and get everybody. Yeah. But then, I mean, are they effective if somebody doesn't go home and quarantine for 3 days or 4 days after they take it? So another one of those things, you can be as safe as you want to be, but there's still risk involved.
Yeah, there's still risk. And
so you landed on.
So with me and the guys, we would have had 6, and then the girls from Red Shoes and Rosin, Jessica Watson, Meade Armstrong, Shauna Cyphers. They were going to be. They've done it just about every year with me as background singers, and we also feature them on a couple of songs each year.
Gotcha.
So I was trying to think of, again, I was comparing. I was like, how do I make it, how do I get so much variety? Because when you got 11 different guests and you got a band that can cut whatever music, they can hit it heavy on the one like James Brown and sing Christmas Time in the Ghetto. And then you do Clarence Carter, and then the next thing you're doing, you're singing Mele Kalikimaka is a thing to say, with the Andrews sisters singing backups with you, So it's all over the.
Got to have a well-rounded band.
Yeah, and so so I thought, well, with the band and with the ladies singing. And also being able to feature them as featured artists, it's just math at this point. We just got to get through an hour and a half, 20 songs, 2 hours, whatever. So instead of one person doing one song, we'll get, they can have 3 songs, and then they can sing on maybe 4 or 5 with me, and then the band gets an instrumental, show off their chops, and then we can build this. It ain't no big deal.
Right.
But since it was such for me, I totally made the decision to do it solo just because, first of all, A, it's going to be different, or no matter how we look at it.
Yeah.
And B, if out of friendship and out of respect that they booked me to be there with a band and with singers and with the show, then I'm not going to put it somewhere else. I'm just
gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it just seemed like it was good faith to me to not do that.
Yeah, you weren't going to just find a new venue for the show that they helped you put together.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the big thing, the great thing, in the process of all this working with the Bijou was they have booked it for next year.
Awesome.
So it's going to get there one way or another.
That's huge.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I mean, Barley's is under new ownership, right? So it the pandemic kind of forced you to make a little bit of a change, and it looks like it's going to pay off.
And that was going to be, it probably wouldn't have been uncomfortable on any end other than mine.
Yeah.
Because I'm always thinking about the other person and how is that going to affect, because if things were normal, I could call tomorrow, I could call right now and say, hey, I need to show so-and-so, and they'd be like, well, we got it open, we'll write you in, no problem, so
at Barley's.
Yeah. So I didn't want to do anything to jeopardize that as well, of having number one, having friendships down there, and then having a really professional working friendship.
Yeah, a good working relationship with those guys.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
So that kind of came along and gave me a good way to I don't know if that's the right way to say it. It sounds kind of shitty.
No, I see what you're
you
saying.
know what
it
I'm
was,
saying.
Yeah,
It was a good way to have just a clean break of being able to get it where.
I mean, it's like you go for that, that study abroad, with the girl you were about to break up with anyway. And you come back and it's just not so hard because you had to do it.
Yeah.
I never studied abroad, by the way.
Well,
a couple of them.
Yeah, ugh. It's bad, folks.
So then this is happening on Friday, the 18th.
Yeah,
okay.
December 18th, 8 p.m. It'll be a public invite. Just look on Facebook, Mike McGill, Christmas Spectacular.
Yeah.
8th annual. It'll be all over everything. And, you just show up, click it, and enjoy.
I'm excited.
And, it should be really easy. We should have a link that goes straight to Second Harvest, so you can. And the cause is not just Second Harvest. Obviously, they have all different types of programs. The program we really want to help. Well, that's the wrong way to say it too. But the program that we are trying to raise the money for is specifically the Food for Kids program.
Which is
kids don't ask for it, man.
Right.
They didn't ask to be here. They didn't ask for shitty parents. They didn't ask for none of this. They didn't ask for COVID. They certainly didn't ask to go to bed hungry. So that's my passion. That's what I want to do.
It's noble, man.
Is to help the kids.
It blew my mind when I heard about New York City schools shutting down, and they mentioned that New York City schools had 100,000 homeless students, and that blew my mind.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's that.
It's amazing that there can be that many people in a country like ours who can't have a warm place to sleep at night.
I read something the other day. There is 1 billion, B with a B, you hear me out there? Billion people in the world that don't have adequate housing.
Believe that.
That are homeless or don't have adequate housing. A billion.
Yeah, I mean, you think of third world countries and all that. I mean, that's 15% of the world's population, 7 billion something people. And that's amazing, though. But to you think about third world countries, you think, I mean, I've been to some of these places, and it's like nobody in the entire country has what you'd call adequate housing. And it's a huge bummer.
Yeah, and I was in Honduras, which is one of those third world countries. Yeah. And by the time I left, it went through my mind. When I first got there, it was like, golly, these poor people. And then by the time I was leaving, I was wondering to myself, kind of asking, well, who's got it the worst?
Yeah.
I mean,
it's like that petting zoo.
Who's the real victim here?
Oh yeah, I mean, I thought the same thing when I was in Belize one time. Yeah. I was like, this is sad the way that these people are living. But then I realized they're as happy as 90% of the people I know.
Yeah, they're probably happier than Davy Dynamite and his fucking hook-nosed wife that he can't stand, don't want to stay at home with.
Exactly.
Don't blame me because you don't want to quarantine because you married her or you married him, I mean, that's the truth.
Yeah.
You think about these guys that don't retire till they're like 137.
Yeah.
I just want to push them off a cliff.
Really? Because they made some poor decisions?
Well, no, it's just because they don't want to go home. I mean,
that's what I mean.
I shouldn't. I'm generalizing, obviously, folks. This is trying to be funny. I don't really mean this about every old person. Most of them I won't push off a cliff, but it's just like they're unhappy. They don't want to be home. They want to be work. That's all they know. They want to go back to work. And I just be like, you mean all I have to do is sit on this couch and save the planet?
Down.
I'm your guy. I'm your guy. I'm your guy. I can do it. I can do it in my sleep. I can do it standing on my head. I can do it while eating Captain Crunch. I don't give a shit. I can do it. I'm your guy.
I asked
digress.
That's okay. Something that I heard about on the radio one time, and I don't know if you want to talk about it or not, but I remember Red Hickey was talking about this music festival at Hippie Jack's.
Oh.
And she said, I think it was like she was saying the lineup, and she was like, and then Mike McGill will be, well, no, actually, I don't think Mike McGill will be there this weekend. I don't think he's going to make it.
Yeah, we were playing that. We were playing to a sold-out crowd for 3 nights at the Overton County Bed and Breakfast at the Injustice Center. Yeah, that was one for the ages.
What was Hippie Jack's though? What was that place? Is it still around? Or,
yeah, they're still there. Man, they Jack does. Him and his wife actually. I always thought everybody was calling her Mississippi, but they were calling her Mrs. Hippie.
Mrs. Hippie, because he's Hippie Jack.
Right.
Gotcha. Okay.
But
what was that place? That's like a camping music festival, right?
He has got a
in
farm.
Middle Tennessee or
He's
something?
got a farm down around Overton County,
Where's that?
Monterey, Livingston.
Oh, gotcha.
Right there.
Yeah. So south towards Chattanooga and off the beaten path a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay.
Back in the plateau, right really where the plateau kind of starts right
Sewanee.
there, you know. And so, yeah, he has a farm down there and has an all music festival. So it's not... First time I ever went down there, I was dating this gal who went down there, and Jay Clark was playing down there, and a bunch of those people that I knew from Knoxville. And I went down there, and I was only privy to the bluegrass festivals or the jazz festival, the certain festival, you know, where you had these artists and this type of music, and this was everything.
The Hippie Jacks thing.
Hippie Jacks was all music.
Polysonic get together.
Yeah, it could be a jam band. It could be a bluegrass band. You could have a singer-songwriter. You may have a rock and roller. You may have a classic country guy or whatever, you know. And then if you get real drunk and get to the fire and go out in the middle of the night, my first experience was this dude named, man, I hope I don't get this wrong, Ranger Ron, I think was his name, but he was just this old hillbilly dude, you know, mashed up hat, you know, probably had some good teeth at some point.
Yeah.
You know.
It's been a while.
But he had an old Guild 12-string. It's hard enough to tune one with 6 strings.
Sure.
And this thing was so far out of tune. But, man, he was jamming to Van Morrison playing back when Van Morrison was with them, and he was singing Gloria out by a campfire.
Love it.
And out of fucking nowhere, a guy shows up in a field, and now this place is in the middle of nowhere. There's no cell service, no internet service. You're totally disconnected.
Yeah.
And there's a kid shows up with a baritone sax.
Starts playing Gloria with him?
And starts playing Gloria with this old dude, this old hippie dude, Ranger Ron, Ranger Rick, whatever, Danger Dan. I don't know what the fuck his name. I think it was Ranger Ron. I think that's what it was. But, yeah, and I just remember being like, holy cow, man, this is really, really cool.
And were you playing it that year? Or were you going as a fan?
That year was the first year I ever went, and I just went down there as a fan.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people that know a lot of people that know where to find the good music have given me a lot of invites to go down there, and I've never done it, man. But it sounds like a hell of a good time.
It is a hell of a good time, and Jack and Hippie Jack and Mrs. Hippie. They provide a wonderful work. They do food drives, and they do clothing drives. You can go to jammin'@hippiejacks.com and find out what the cause is for. It's the wrong people helping the right people for the right reason. You know?
I love that.
And so he and their crew all year long grow huge gardens, do perishable food items, coats, toys, toiletries, sundries, all this stuff. And they take them to the mountain people of the Cumberland Plateau that don't have anything. I mean, there's people there don't have running water.
Right.
You know, they can't even they can't afford enough PVC to pipe it in from the damn creek.
Right.
And you're worried about running out of toilet paper, and all you got to do is wash your stinky ass.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, so they do a wonderful, wonderful work.
A lot of people don't know that there's that many people in our backyard who need our help.
1 out of every 6 children in East Tennessee go hungry.
Is that part of the Food for Kids thing?
Yeah.
Is that,
I mean,
is
that's
that
just
1 out of every 6 is the ones that they're trying to find?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so, getting back to that story. So we went down there a year or two, I had as a fan, and then, and of course we had the Barstool Romeos kind of come on and hit it pretty good there. And, we were going to be, I wouldn't say we were headlining the festival, but we
had a good slot,
we had a really good slot, and people had been lobbying for us to get there, you know. So Andy and I, we took off on Andy Perkle, the Macho Man, Andy Salvage. That's his wrestling name. So we took off on a Thursday, and we thought, you know, we're going to get down there a couple of days early and just totally have a chance to disconnect and just be fans, and before we have to do our show, and just take the whole thing in and be a part of it instead of just going down there to perform.
Sure.
We get down, we come off the interstate, go through Livingston or Monterey maybe. Any rate, we get one of those little towns, and we're, you know, it's a windy road down the mountain, through the holler, over the thing.
You guys in a van
across.
with all your instruments and all that?
We are in a Nissan Pathfinder with all of our stuff in it, or our
instruments,
personal stuff. Yeah. The guys were coming down. You know, I think there was a couple of guys that were just coming down for the show.
The rest
and
of
then
the
there was
Romeos?
another one. Yeah, and then there was another one or two that was coming down to, you know, wasn't coming down to Friday or Saturday or something. So we get down there, and right before you turn right to go back to the farm. And from that, there's a little convenience store there on the corner. And from there back to Hippies is probably, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 miles. It's not very far.
Is anybody else traveling that road except people who are going to Hippie Jack's for the weekend?
Basically, that's about it. I mean, you know, it's not like it's not New York City. You know, it's not a big population.
Sure.
So, yeah, pretty much. So we stop at I said, hey, pull over here before we head back there. And
before we hit the 6 mile stretch,
before we hit the promised land here, you know, because you're just thinking,
convenience store.
Just pull over here for a second. Yeah. Andy pulls over. I go in the back of the truck, get 2 tall boys, and get them out. I've not opened them. Because once you get so far down this road, then you take a gravel road about another 2 miles, and that's all pretty much, it's just a logging road. Yeah. You pass log trucks coming through there, the whole thing, you know. And so I grabbed us a couple of beers, and I thought, well, we hit the gravel road, we'll pop them, and we'll get down there, you know. We'll be at the farm. Everything's easy peasy. Nobody feels a thing. Nobody knows nothing. I get the beers, we get in the car, we top the hill, come down through there, and a cruiser's coming the other way, coming towards us. So we're traveling.
Cop car, Crown Vic?
Yes. And, you know, we're not doing anything wrong. We don't have anything open again, you know, but it's just, you know, it's like fucking Darth Vader shows up. You're kind of scared. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and about that time, I look up in the rearview mirror, or in the side mirror, because I'm not driving. I look in the side mirror, And this dude has pulled a Roscoe P. Coltrane in the middle of the road. And has turned around the cruiser, yeah. Officer Stout.
Officer Stout?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Class A dickhead.
Really?
Oh. Let me finish. So he turns around, pulls us over, and walks up to the car and goes, "You know why I pulled you over?" And Andy said, "No, I have no idea." He said, "I believe your window tint's too dark."
Uh-oh.
And, of course, you know, how do you tell that you're doing 35 mile an hour, opposite directions? You know,
some people are just born with that eye, Mike.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah, I'll tell you the eye he was born with.
Yeah, a brown eye.
Yeah, when he needed a foot stuck up. So he checks the thing. Everything's fine. Well, wants our information, you know, wants my license. I was like, well, I ain't got a license. I just totally lied.
Yeah.
You know, I ain't doing nothing.
Yeah.
You don't need my license. I'm not operating any vehicle.
I'm riding in a car.
Yeah, I know. You know, I know my rights here, man.
Exactly.
Stay out of Long Beach, Lebowski.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, Malibu.
Yeah, stay out of Malibu.
So one thing leads to another, and he comes back, and he's got a hand on his gun.
Why?
All right. So comes to find out, Andy had gotten a DUI like almost a year before that, you know? I mean, several months. Well, do you remember when the lady was misappropriating funds for the trustees of Knox County and all that shit? And back when Bumgardner and all that.
I remember that.
Okay, well, right after that, there was a lady who had got caught misappropriating funds, and that people were paying their fines and their penalties.
She was keeping it?
She was keeping it. Andy was one that had never reported. His case had been dismissed.
But he never paid his court costs because she kept him.
Right.
That's garbage.
Exactly. Oh, well, it gets better.
Does it? I bet Officer Stout's got a hard on for putting you in jail right now.
Dude, he could fart and blow the rule book open to page 17, Article A, Section B. I mean, or whatever. You know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
So, you know, and here we are in the middle of nowhere. You don't even have cell service. And luckily, I look and I got like 2 bars. I called Jay Clark. I said, Jay, I don't know if you'll get this or not. I said, but we're in trouble. So, in the process of all this, I'm thinking, well, I still ain't done nothing wrong. And then, of course, he's going through the car and all this shit, and finds the 2 beers, and he's like, what's this? I said, well, it looks like beers.
Yeah. 2 unopened beers.
Yeah.
How else are you going to get him home from the store?
And he goes, he said something smart-assed, and I said, well, as you can see, they're not open, and we've not been drinking.
Yeah.
You know, like, duh. So, long story short here, they finally keep badgering me. I give them my shit. Well, comes to find out, I've got a warrant for my arrest. Yeah. And
are you sure this is true? This sounds like
fucking true.
Officer Stout started writing some rules on the spot.
This is fucking true. I'm telling you, every bit of this is true.
God bless.
I got a warrant for my arrest for child support. Okay?
Yeah.
In Knox County. I have and they won't tell me what it's for. You know, I'm just like, I ain't never had a speeding ticket. You know?
Right.
And so, because it's a Memorial Day weekend, we got to go back to the little county jail. the Injustice Center at the Overton County Bed and Breakfast.
So does Andy have a warrant too for not paying his for quote unquote
Correct.
not paying? And then you've got a warrant.
Correct.
So this is probably the best action.
I'm a deadbeat dad.
Right, you're a deadbeat dad.
Andy's a drunk. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is the Alice's Restaurant biggest crime that has ever been seen on Officer
Father
Stout's
stabbers and mother rapers.
Yeah, exactly.
We're on the Group W bench.
You are.
Yes, totally Alice's Restaurant.
There were 4 police cruisers and 2 police dogs.
Oh, by this time, there's 2 or 3 cruisers.
Oh, they hit the jackpot.
Yeah, and we've got. I mean, you know, I got $3,000 worth of guitars back there.
Sure.
You know, not counting my amp.
Right.
You know, and all my pedals and all my stuff and
Right.
blah blah blah. And not counting Andy's stuff. So here comes a girl that we know from Knoxville that's going to the thing. And I don't know how I talked him into it. I was like, just let us give her our instruments. Okay, I'll let you do that.
Okay.
So that was cool. We didn't lose any of that to impoundment.
Right.
Right. So we did all of that, and then he finds the weed.
It wasn't in one of your guitar cases or something?
No.
No. Was it a lot?
No.
It was like a personal
It
amount?
was about an amount as big as the silver part on that lighter right there.
And
It was a little nugget that was in a carry case. We're going to a place called Hippie Jack's.
Give me a
We didn't
break.
need no weed.
right. You don't take sand to the beach.
Just look around,
Sure.
you know. Yeah. So now we're simple possession, blah, blah, blah. Father raper, mother stabber.
stabbers, yeah.
You know, the
Group
whole
W
deal.
bench.
Back on it.
Yeah.
So we get down there. Luckily, I remembered a phone number. Let this be a lesson to all you people out there that say, "Oh no, I've got his number in my phone." Bullshit. They won't let you have your phone, dum dum. You better know somebody's number or have it written down. That if you need to call somebody when the shit hits the fan, that you can get a hold of them.
Yeah.
They wouldn't let you have none of this. So luckily, I remembered a real close buddy's number. So we get a hold of everybody. Finally, still not telling us what they're keeping us for. Hippie's already got a bail bondsman there going to bond us out. You know,
He's got to get his headliner.
right. Won't let us have it. And the next thing I know, we're being booked. And we're waiting on Knox County to get there to come and get us to take us back to pay for our crimes that we committed here in Knox County.
Extradition?
Extradition on a holiday.
On a holiday weekend.
So
did they hold you on simple possession and then got the Knox
they arrested
County?
us on the simple possession and the thing with Andy, and then held us because we had paperwork on us here in Knoxville.
Did all of it ever get resolved?
Well, we're getting there.
Okay. I'm
So-
gonna rush you.
So the next thing, well, you asked for it, so you get it.
I want it, baby. Hit me.
So the next thing I know, we're getting booked, you know, and this young lady who works there is so dumb. Andy at the time had a job as a mechanic at a coffee roasting plant.
A mechanic at a coffee roast. Oh, for the machines?
The machinery,
okay,
yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah, there you go. We'll help you on the big words next time. So, so he has a wrench in his pocket, you know, so when they get all their stuff, and she's going through our stuff, and she's calling me Andy the whole time. And
Really?
I'm like, no, I'm not Andy.
Yeah.
My name's Mike. Finally get her to understand that, and she pulls out that fucking wrench and goes, "What is this?" And it took everything I had not to be a smart ass.
Oh, I'm sure.
And I said, and I just looked at her and I said, "Well, that's a wrench." I mean, as polite as I could say it. And so the next thing I know, I'm hearing her, it's all hell's breaking loose in there because they've got these two criminals from Knoxville, you know.
Yeah.
And
drug kingpins, really.
Oh, yeah. Just, you know, fucking Chapo and Escobar here. So, and they're talking about splitting us up. Well, I just got as quiet, and I just started talking quieter and quieter as I could just to get her, just to bring her down so she'd calm the fuck down. And I talked her into putting me and him in a cell together. At least we'd be together.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So we're booked, we're crooked, we're headed back to the joint. And I look up and I see maximum security.
What?
Yeah.
Is that all they had?
I don't know. I mean, you know, nobody was forthcoming with a lot of information up to this point.
They really did think they had Pablo Escobar, didn't they?
Dude. So we get in there, and when we walk in, the jailer opens that door, man, and it's a pod system, you know, like all the places are built like now.
I've never been.
Well, don't. And dude, they are like fucking monkeys climbing the cages, slinging shit at little kids at the zoo. The prisoners.
The prisoners are?
Yeah, fish, we're fucking you tonight, blah, blah, blah.
Really?
Da-da-da-da. Yeah, man, it's bad. It's bad.
Really? I thought that was just in the movies, Mike.
No, it's not just in the movies.
So they got that from somewhere.
So we go to the cell that we're going to be home in for the next 3 days or 4 days, however long
Holiday
it was.
weekend.
The long holiday weekend. And the jailer opens the door, and there's a dude standing there with a swastika tattoo on his neck who looks about like Mighty Mouse. He's built, he's a little guy, but he's ripped.
Was he an inmate or was he a
he's
guard?
Standing there in his boxers. He's a fucking inmate.
Okay.
He's the boss of that cell, is who he is.
Yeah.
And there's 3 other guys in there with him. So there was 5 guys in one cell for 4 days until Knox County came and got us.
Holy shit, Mike.
So we go through all that.
Were there any dust ups? Did anything? Were you guys, you know, making buddies in there? Was it, you know?
So they go. The Nazi looks at us and goes, "What'd they get you for, boys?" And I said, or I think Andy said, "They found the weed, man." And he goes to the door, to the iron door, you know.
Nazi guy does?
The Nazi guy goes to the door and puts his face up against the crack in the door and yells to the top of his lungs, "They found the musicians' weed! The musicians from Knoxville, they found their weed in their vehicle. We need a honey bun and some fucking rolling papers. They found the weed." I shit you not.
How'd that go, Mike?
Oh, my God.
How did that endear you to the staff there
I'm
at the
just
prison?
like, holy shit. I'm just thinking we're going to go to this little country jail. You know, we're probably going to eat like green bologna, some bad eggs, or get the shits or
Talk
something.
to Barney Fife for a little bit.
Yeah, you know.
In the one jail cell, you know.
Yeah.
Jail there in town.
Yeah, this wasn't no fucking Mayberry. And Otis wasn't there. It was a Nazi. Saying we needed a honey bun and some rolling papers. I swear to God, that's what he yelled. I don't know what it meant. I don't know.
Was he
nothing.
making fun of you?
I don't know.
Was he trying to make fun of the cops?
I don't know. I didn't go up to him and ask him.
You did? I mean, you were with the guy for 4 days.
Well, I mean, you know, other than being a racist piece of shit, he was a
pretty nice guy.
Pretty nice guy to us the whole time we were there. You know, we played cards. You know. We got up when they told us to. We went to bed when they told us to, you know.
How was the food?
Oh, it was terrible.
Was it?
Yeah, it was terrible.
That's what you hear about.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Yeah.
But so we get out of there, and they come in so then we go to our arraignment, you know.
Before you left town?
Yeah. And we go in there, and I may be calling it the wrong thing, but we had to go before the judge. They line us up and shackle our feet and our hands together.
Jeez.
And we're walking down this hallway. Yeah. Okay, so we get before the judge, and I sat there and putting kind of two and two together watching all this. And the judge, there's a lady, probably in her 60s, that's asking for extra time on paying her fine. She had lost her job. She had had a rough spot. She had blah,
Was
blah,
she
blah,
in
blah.
shackles?
No. She was just there as part before they got to us.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, why didn't they shackle her up?
Well, hang on.
All right.
So instead of having any kind of remorse for this lady or showing her any kind of saying, yeah, we'll give you an extra, you got to the 10th of next month to pay your thing. Booked her.
Right there.
Yeah, right there. It was so fucking corrupt. There was the guys that we were in the guys we were in the cell with, there was some of those guys who had been in there 4 or 5 years in a county prison because the county government was getting, and they were writing letters, the prisoners were writing letters to try to get into prison so they could have work and work off their time. But they were getting so much kickback money for having a full jail that they were keeping those guys there.
So bogus.
Oh, it was horrible. Horrible.
I need to change the card in here.
Sure.
Sam, I got full on my card over here. I'm going to change it real quick. How's it going over there, Sam? Fantastic. Is it? How's it look? Does it look good? It's pretty good. Yeah. So the lady gets booked right before you. You're in your shackles.
Yeah, we're in shackles, sitting there waiting on our time before this fucking judge is probably driving a new Cadillac with a, he looked like a, big Jimmy Durante nose that probably just got done, probably had a fifth of fucking scotch in his desk drawer, right behind swinging the gavel.
He's the biggest criminal in the world.
Kill him. And so I figured out right quick that it was just corrupt as hell. There's no place for those people to work down there. Just nothing but poor people.
Right.
And this place was just making money hand over fist on these guys that made bad decisions.
Yeah.
So so we get through all of that, and we got a date that we got to come back, and all that stuff to do that. And then our lucky day arrives. Tuesday comes, and this was on a Thursday.
When it happened,
yeah,
right before everybody ducked out for the holiday weekend.
So Tuesday comes, and there's these two cops shows up from Knoxville to come and get us.
They came and got you?
Yeah.
That sounds ridiculous.
Yeah.
That they must.
They had a $10,000 cash bond on me
for the child support thing.
And my fucking picture was hanging beside the stage in the Knoxville Welcome Center.
Right.
I'm not making that up either. Brian
Yeah.
Wagner took the photo. It's hanging where everyone comes to get welcomed to our fair city.
Yeah. By some criminal from Monterey,
Steve
right?
Wildsmith has written countless articles, and Wayne Bledsoe. I mean, I've been on the news. I've been at live at 5, at 4, at 6, maybe at 7. I don't know what time we're going to call it this fucking month. I've been on all of it. And I'm a hardened criminal, a deadbeat dad. I mean,
Oh no.
who raised his daughter the entire time.
What happened with that? Where did
So
are you a deadbeat dad, Mike? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
No, far from it.
What the hell happened?
So these two cops show up Knoxville. Now, you remember when you first met me. Man, I looked like I was selling Bibles. I was clean as a Skeeter's Peter, man.
I went back and looked at some photos of you the other day. You were clean shaven.
Oh, yeah. No beard, no tattoos.
Damn near
no
had the rockabilly thing going on with the hair.
Oh, I had the best hair in the business.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. So, these guys get there, and they look at this old mugshot of me and look back at me, and they're like, this ain't the fucking guy we're after. You don't look nothing like the guy. And by this time, what do? You just laugh.
Yeah.
I mean, But the guys that showed up was this average-looking guy, average height, average build, whatever. And this dude that was with him looked like Jaws off of James Bond.
They go good cop, bad cop on you?
He was 7 feet fucking tall. He looked like Lurch and Jaws had a kid. Yeah. And became a cop. So we're in this, we're getting ready to be put in the back of the cruiser, handcuffed behind our backs.
Sure.
And I said, I looked at the big guy and I said, man, do you think you could put our handcuffs on in front? I was like, he's like, yeah, it's going to be a little tight back there, big boys like you two. So they did that for us. Well, we get to Crab Orchard on the way back.
Yeah.
And they look at the big one, Jaws, looks up in the mirror and looks at me and goes, you boys want a Mountain Dew? I'm like, well, fuck yeah, I want a Mountain Dew. All I've been drinking is powdered milk and fucking generic Kool-Aid for a week in a cell with a Nazi. Yeah, a Mountain Dew would be great, man.
I'm not a big Mountain Dew guy, but I'll take one.
Yeah, but I'll take one if you're offering. So they literally pull off the interstate at the Crab Orchard exit and go to this gas station and buy us 2 Mountain Dews and get themselves one. And then take us back to Knoxville. Well, we get back to Knoxville, and it's like, finally, you're able to get some more phone calls and get starting to talk to people.
The more civilized part of the state.
And the guys that you have talked to have got things in motion, so now you can talk to your lawyer who, by chance, had just passed the bar exam like 4 weeks ago and was my next door neighbor.
What?
Yeah, swear to God.
That's what you want. You want a good newbie to get out there and support you. It's probably cheap.
This cause will be good for you. This will make you famous, son. This is a high-profile case. I see. It's kind of like a joke, but smaller. So yeah, he shows up, and we start talking about everything, and then get back to Knox County and got to get processed again and got to go through the thing. Well, then there's a girl who was in my choir at Carter, working in the.
No.
Yeah, and you just feel like total shitbird,
Yeah.
And it's like, so she's like, listen, I ain't judging you. I don't know nothing. And I said, well, this is all this is all going to come out in my favor. I don't know how, but none of this is true. So finally, Andy gets out before I do. I had to stay an extra 2 nights in Knox County because they wanted $10,000 cash
For your bond.
for my bond. Not 10%.
Right.
10 grand cash.
To get you out.
So my buddy Jimmy from Jimmy's Pub put up the money for everything, got me out. I left the downtown. I took from Maloneyville Road to downtown, went before the magistrate there, got everything set with my lawyer, got, the comebacks and all that, for the trial or whatever you want to call it. They forget I'm in the cell downtown. So I'm up in the old city county building in this cell.
Like a holding cell?
And like a holding cell, like a drunk tank.
Yeah.
All by myself and nobody else on the entire floor with me.
Just lost in...
Lost.
Yeah.
And I got to open for Marty Stewart.
Where
the
at?
next night at the Shed.
Did you make it?
I made it.
How?
I got out.
Would you start rattling their cage
I
a
started
little bit?
raising hell.
Yeah.
And somebody come in there, and I'm like, listen, I know you guys hear this shit all the time. I said, but they've left me. They've just forgot I'm here. I said, I'm free. I've paid my fine. So luckily, that guy who was working went and tried to get to the bottom of it, found out. They sent another car back for me, had to go back to Maloneyville, and then get released from there. Went, changed my clothes, got a shower, changed my clothes, got my guitar, and went straight to the shed and opened up for Marty Stewart that night.
I mean, Mike, that's some outlaw shit right there, man. I mean,
It was nuts.
It's like, what do they say? If it ain't been in a pawn shop, it can't play the blues.
Yeah.
I mean, if they say that about guitars.
Yeah.
If that's what I want a musician like you to be doing once.
I guess.
Once.
I guess. So we get back. Poor old Andy is just fucked. He
Really?
had to go back and serve 45 days.
Because of the clerical.
Yes.
Yeah. Did that ever get like forgiven, or did they ever say
Finally,
we messed up?
after he served his time.
They said you were lumped in with this group of people who got
Yes.
who were victim to this
Sorry,
woman who was.
you had to go to jail and work from jail for 45 days.
It's a bummer.
But they let him get a ride and go to work and come back and check back in every day because they wanted to get paid.
Yeah.
You know.
What happened with your thing?
Well, luckily I got back with my thing, and I had to get affidavits written by character witnesses, people in the community, my daughter included, and we get back before the magistrate, and my ex-wife is there, and who has opened this can of worms with the state, unbeknownst to me.
Right. Sour grapes.
Yeah. And the magistrate looks at her and she's like, what are you trying to do here? What are you trying to prove? She's read all the affidavits. She's read that I've raised my daughter, all this stuff. And finally, and she couldn't say dick with a mouthful of it. You know, she just, she didn't know, she couldn't say nothing because she was just trying to fucking get some money.
Really?
And the magistrate looks at me and she says, Mr. McGill, it seems to me as if you have raised a fine daughter who is now a fine young lady. And I have no idea why your ex-wife's got her nose in your business, nor do I have any idea why the state of Tennessee has their nose in your business. This is dismissed. And I grabbed my lawyer's leg and I was like, let's get the fuck out of here before they change their mind. I shit you not, man. And so all of my shit was wiped clean too. You know, which I had never done anything to begin with.
That's what's crazy. Is it all this devolved into something terrible?
Yeah, I lost my license for a year. I couldn't drive. I had to pay people to come and get me, to take me to my gigs.
Because you were the passenger in a car.
Sarah Hembry came as a friend and drove me every gig that I had still on the books, took me to every one of them. Yeah, I mean, it was crazy, man.
It's because you're such a good dude, man.
I guess. Thank you for saying that, But yeah, so there's your crazy fucking story. I got one better than that.
Do you?
I went to jail one time for not having a life jacket.
On a boat?
You ever been around such a hardened criminal in all your life?
No.
I took my dad and my little girl fishing one time in a canoe at Georges Creek in Louisville, right not far from here.
Yeah.
And we were crappie fishing, and this lippy ranger, not Ranger Ron.
TWRA?
Yeah, TWRA guy was saying, your fish are short. And I said, no, they're not. He said, well, how'd you measure them? And I said, well, like I measure all of them. I cut a stick. You know, I cut a piece of wood that was 10 inches long. And if its lips hang over that side and his ass hangs over that side, it's legal. Well, you didn't use a belly board and all this stuff and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, well, listen, man, if you're going to write me a ticket, whatever. I don't know, but you can measure all the fish and waste your time if you want. I said, but I'm not into breaking the law,
Right.
you know. So he does. He measures every one of them. Takes our time, blah, you know, one thing leads to another. Gives me a $10 ticket for not having enough life jackets in the boat. I had 2. Should have had 3.
Right.
No problem. Go within a week. Take Hannah with me, my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Go to the Blount County Courthouse. Pay the $10 fee plus the $170 court costs. So it cost me $180 fucking dollars for not having enough life jackets.
It's only a $10 fine.
Pay it. Got the receipt. Put it in above my sun visor of my truck. I'm remodeling a house at the time. I tell my dad, I've been working on it all day. I come back in. I tell my dad, I said, hey, you want anything from the store? I've got to go get gas. I said, I'm going to go fill my truck up and be ready. Take Hannah to school and hit Gatlinburg in the morning. That's when I was playing music. No, I don't think I need anything. So I take off to go to the gas station. Get pulled over, doing nothing wrong. He goes, you crossed the line back there. And I said, well, okay, man. Sorry. I said, we kind of got a little bit of banter going. And I dropped a couple of names, the guys I knew.
Yeah.
And he goes, I'll have you out here in a minute. Let me just run your stuff. Run my stuff. Comes back, his hand on his gun. Swear to God. Looks at me and says, I'm going to need you to get out of the car. I need to see your hands at all times. You do it slowly. Won't be no problems. I'm like, sure, dude. Whatever, I get out. Do the thing, talking to him. Next thing I know, I'm against the truck. He's got me cuffed and stuffed and taking me to the cruiser. And I'm like, what are you doing? What? I mean, because I crossed the fucking line. You got a warrant out for your arrest in Blount County. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about, And of course, as soon as you say that, you're like, they hear this shit every 27 seconds,
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can't really blame as much as you really want to. So I'm just like, and then it dawns on me. And I talk him into letting my brother come get my truck because he was going to have it towed. I said, my brother lives literally 5 minutes from here. Just let me. I said, I'm a single dad. I ain't got the money to pay for this. All right, I'll let you do that. Well, gee, thanks a lot, Mr. fucking nice guy, kind-hearted motherfucker. So he lets me do that, and then it dawns on me.
Life jacket ticket?
The life jacket ticket. Because they kept saying, so so take me from there all the way back to Maloneyville, get booked, get processed, and I'm sitting there, and it's the night of the Prince concert in Knoxville. This is how long ago it was. Oh. Prince was playing in Knoxville. And
Thompson Bowling, I assume?
Yeah, I guess it was. I don't know. And I don't know why I even remember that, but there was this drunk guy in the cell where they throw you, when you first get there in the holding cell. And he's drunk. He's relieved himself.
Thrashing.
Yeah, everything. And he's like, what did you do? And I said, I cut my mother's head off with a rusty butcher knife, you son of a bitch. And if you get close to me, I'll kill you too. I swear.
I guess that's what you got to do.
Well, I'd
have probably said that to the guy with the Nazi, the swastika on his neck, though.
I was just pissed off, it was just like, really? So the next thing I know, the officer's coming in, and he's like, so, what's PFD? What's PFD violation? I'm like, you're the fucking cop. I don't know what the hell you're talking about, PFD. I don't know. I'm like, dude, I ain't ever had a speeding ticket. I don't know what you're talking about. And so Blount County comes and get me and takes me back to Blount County because I'm wanted. I'm a hardened criminal, wanted in Blount County.
For the PFD violation.
Yes, for the PFD violation. Get back to Blount County, I'm sitting there, it dawns on me.
They ever tell you what a PFD was?
Finally, personal flotation device.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. And so finally get through all that, called my mother on that one, you know, and my brother.
I bet that felt good as an adult.
Oh, yeah. You've already your brother had to come get your truck where it didn't get, you know. Yeah. So now your mom knows. Mm-hmm. So they come and get me. I go do all the stuff, get back to the, you know, like a week or 2 weeks later, however long, get back before the judge. Well, you know, explain all this to the judge. Have my receipt in my hand where I had paid it, and it's stamped, it was in the visor. Paid in the visor of the fucking truck. And he goes, so you're telling me you've paid this fine. You've done what you said you were going to do, what you were supposed to do, and you got arrested and held in Knox County, and then we sent an officer to come get you. Brought you back here, booked again in Blount County. I'm like, yeah. And I've missed work.
Yeah.
I've missed 3 days of work because of all this. And he says, I can't remember he was one of the older judges in Blount County. I can't remember his name for right now. It escapes me. But he says, I'm recommending you seek private counsel for this matter. You know,
instead of a public defender.
Yeah, and I'm like, so you're telling me I need to sue Blount County? He goes, I'm telling you, you need to get a private. You need to seek private counsel for this matter. Huh. Which was exactly what he was saying.
Really?
That you should sue.
Really?
Yeah. Because
sounds kind of messed up.
Oh, it was totally messed up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've not had. I've been in there and I've done some really terrible things. Yeah. but none of them stuck.
Yeah.
I'm made out of Vaseline.
Well, it's because you're about the nicest guy on planet Earth, and you're just kind as can be. And I don't mean to laugh at it, and I don't mean to even say that.
Well, you can't do anything else now but laugh at it. I mean, you know.
It's a bummer, but you know, it makes you more lovable, the fact that you've been through some dumb shit like that, you know?
It's for a hell of a story, I guess.
It does. Well, what else we got before we get to before we go subscribe to your stream on Friday? What else we need to tell the people before that?
Second Harvest Food for Kids program.
Yeah.
It's a really, if you rely. This started out as the end of the world thing. It was a totally selfish thing. It was, basically all the working musicians, local musicians here in Knoxville. It was their Christmas party. It was our Christmas party.
Gotcha.
And it is certainly just turned into something just so much more bigger than that. And if you were like me, you've heard horror stories about nonprofits and charitable organizations. Their money don't go exactly where a lot of them. I'm not saying all of them, but a lot of them are that way. And you just don't really know how much of that money is going to the actual cause that you're trying to support.
Right.
And I can tell you this, Second Harvest, I've toured their facility. They got a huge 13,000 square foot warehouse out in Blount County, and they are 95% efficient. Now, for you dum-dums that don't understand, that means 95 cents out of every dollar you make, it goes to the cause.
Excellent.
And they've got everything, dialed down so well that they can feed a kid for a year on $7.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It's amazing. So $7 you can feed a kid, a hungry kid. So, you know, I mean, that right there is enough to, it's just amazing. And we've provided over the past, you know, see, it wasn't a charitable thing until, let's see, this is 8, 7, 6.
Yeah, it was
the last 3 years.
It was the Christmas party until
last 3 or 4 years. I can't remember exactly right off the top of my head if it was 3 or 4, but at any rate, we've raised, we've provided almost 20,000 meals.
That's excellent.
So
I hope this year yields a lot more.
I do too. I don't know what it's going to be like. You know, I'm sure there's going to be a few, you know, I don't know if there'll be hiccups or if there'll be a bug here or there or whatever, but we're going to try to make it as easy as possible for people just to click and point and shoot and get what you're wanting to get. And awesome. Big thanks to Courtney
Behringer?
Bergmeyer.
Sorry, I tried.
That's all right. Big thanks to her and all the staff at the Bijou. Big thanks to Al, Braden, Scuba Steve. Big thanks to Chad Husky for being my friend and doing all the wonderful artwork that he's done every year for us. And just all the people the boys in the band, you know, that were going to be a part of it, the girls and just everybody over the years. It's just been it's a great lesson in humility at the right time of year.
Yeah.
For the holidays, it seems to me, and it's a great cause, and it's doing something really good for. Again, kids don't ask for it; they don't ask for anything.
It's not their fault.
Yeah.
So. Well, let's do it this year, and then next year have the Bijou to yourself.
Yeah, we're gonna blow it out next year, man. I hope so.
Mike, thanks again for coming over, man.
Hey, man,
I hope we do this some more.
I would. I'll come back anytime.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Do you want to play any music? Do you want us to hang for a second and play
sure,
some music?
If you want, I can do 2 or 3 songs.
All right, let's do it for
that.
do it for the live stream. We'll do that. Let's reset here for a second. We'll get into place and do it.
I wanna pee. So we're live. We're ready. All right. Let me have me one little toke of the old. All right. Hey, everybody. Tuning in from south of Scruffy podcast at the lair of young Ben Fields. Let's tell you what, buddy. It's a real first-class setup around here. Not so much. But, yeah, thanks for having me out. Ben had me on the podcast. We're just singing a few songs. Some I wrote, maybe some I didn't, maybe some I wish I had. Who knows what we'll do? You can't ever tell. So hopefully you'll enjoy it. Here's one I wrote about some things that puzzled me. Well, I once had a blonde-haired beauty, had a sparkle in her eye. She left me flat broke, lonesome, and busted, wondering why. Now a prince, he will marry a princess, while the spider catches flies. And Peter Pan ain't a boy, he's a jar of peanut butter. Tell me why? Why, oh why? To the slaughter, while the wolf leads around the blind, and they print more money while we go bankrupt. Somebody tell me why? Well, the president keeps getting richer, politicians keep telling lies. It just leaves an old hillbilly feeling confused, wondering why? like young Ben asks my opinion. I've been known to speak my mind. But I would need a razor blade to get a cut in Nashville. Tell me why? Well, Johnny, George, Hank, and Waylon never left this world alive. What really good comes from killing one another? Tell me why? Why, oh why? Why, oh why? Why, oh why? Why, oh why? There you go. Oh, little thing I just found asking myself over and over, why? I'm sure you all have done that over the last little bit with everything going on in our crazy little world that we like to live in. But we won't get started on that. We're going to have a good time. So I wrote this song with a buddy of mine named Van Eaton. And I was watching this thing one day on, it was on Memphis. It was on about the music of Memphis, and I'm a big Stax record and fan of Memphis, and of course Sun Records and all that stuff. But a fellow by the name of Rufus Thomas. If you don't know who Rufus Thomas is, shame on you, number one. Number two, you should go find out all the Rufus Thomas you can get. He had a big hit back in the day called Walking the Dog. He had a lovely daughter named Carla Thomas, who also had a few hits on the Stax label and was a great singer. So I was watching a thing one day on Memphis music, and they came in, and Rufus Thomas, he would just wear these outlandish outfits, much like the one I have on, except you can see his from outer space. And they asked him, they said, "Man, Rufus, you're looking really, really good today. Why?" He said, "Man, you just dressed to the nines. You're really looking good today." And Rufus Thomas looked at this guy in this documentary and goes, "Well, if it is, you either is or you ain't, you do or you don't, you can or you can't, or you will or you won't." And I thought, well, I'm ripping that off fair and square. So I started out this next song with it with my good buddy Van Eaton. It's called "A Good Man's Hard to Find." You either is or you ain't, you do or you don't, you can or you can't, or you will or you won't. But either way, baby, a good man, well, he's hard to find. You're either in or you're out, it's up in the air, there's no time to doubt, and I really don't care. But either way, baby, a good man, well, he's hard to find. Yeah, it's an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. And what I'm saying, darling, is the God's honest truth. You might cuss and scream, you may kick and fight, but tell me, what good would that do? You know my mama, well, she taught me how to cook and clean, and I can take care of myself when the times get lean, if you know what I mean. Either way, baby, a good man, yeah, he's hard to find. For an eye, a tooth for a tooth. And what I'm saying, darling, is the God's honest truth. You might cuss and scream, you could kick and fight, but tell me, what good would that do? Well, there's been too much talk, and right now the talk is cheap. And don't you make no promises, honey, that you can't keep. Well, either way, baby, a good man, he's hard to find. Now I'll be gone in the morning before the sun comes up. Me and my little weenie dog and my pickup truck. Either way, baby, a good man, you know he's hard to find. Yes, he is. It's an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. And what I'm saying, darling, is the God's honest truth. You might cuss and scream, you may kick and fight, but tell me what good would that do? You either is or you ain't. You do or you don't. You can or you can't. Or you will or you won't. But either way, baby, a good man, well, he's hard to find. I said, now either way, baby, a good man is hard to find. That's for sure, baby.
I heard somebody tell me a hard man was good to find one time.
Well, you know, there's a lot of difference between a hold up and a stick up. For all you criminals out there. All right. Well, let's see. Shall we do? I want to do this rocker, man. I will do some other stuff that I wrote too, but I've been really digging on these guys here lately. There's some guys called Mike and the Moon Pies. They're out of Austin, and they just released well, I shouldn't say that. I don't know if they just released it. I just heard it. I should say that. But they did this record. If any of you country music fans out there know a guy named Gary Stewart, he was big back in the late 70s and 80s, and a tremendous singer. And evidently he had wrote a bunch of songs, but had never been released. And these were lost findings of some of his work, and had again never had been released. But let me see if I can find it here real quick, and we'll do that one for you. This is I just love this song, and when Ben and I first met, this could have fit either one of us quite well. I would think maybe me more so because I was the elder, but at any rate, you'll get the picture. Well, tonight they're throwing me a party in honor of a much-deserved food. For the million times I've sat down on one, tonight they're giving me the gold bar stool. Well, a railroad man gets a gold watch and chain, carpenter a set of golden tools. But after 20 years of drinking, this has gotten me is my very own gold bar stool. Engrave my name there on the stand, and with it put the words that read the greatest beer drinking man, and put it in a window with a light for the whole world to see. Tonight they give the gold bar stool to me. Now for the times I've neglected my woman, she went out and she found some other fool, and they keep on calling me crazy, but he's got her and I've got this gold bar stool. Now engrave my name there on the stand, and with it write the words, the world's greatest beer drinking man, and put it in a
Yeah. That boy some George Jones sausage. Son. Well, what'd you think about that one?
That's pretty good.
That's a good one. I've sang that one a few times.
You wrote it?
No, God, no, I didn't write it. A fellow named Gary Stewart wrote that. And the band Mike and the Moon Pies just released, or I just found out they did a song. They did a tribute record to all the lost songs of Gary Stewart. It had never been released before, and I heard it, and I fell in love with it. They're in Austin, yeah.
The Moon Pies.
Mike and the Moon Pies. Check them out, man. Good stuff. Real good stuff. Well, I guess we could do. We'll do you a little song here off of the Barstow Romeos. We've talked about them some, and I gotta get it. I gotta pull it up here. I can't remember it. I don't usually sing this one. Andy does, but it's one of my favorites. And it's so good. I haven't memorized the words. I'm really doing this one good, huh? Are you kidding me? Well, surely. Man, this is embarrassing. Hey, don't judge me. I don't need it. I'm trying new stuff. I wrote it, so I can do whatever I want to, right? I have abandonment issues sometimes, but I think that's just where my dad used to throw me up in the air and told me he'd come back and catch me and didn't. Uh-oh. What happened?
Work the other two cameras for a second. I'll change this one real quick.
We lose Houston?
Lost one camera. We're good.
Man, are you kidding me? This is embarrassing. Well, I tell you what. Here we go. So I could have pretended like I was tuning. Yeah. Have I told you yet that you're annoying me? I mean, maybe I didn't. But any rate, this one's called "Waking Up Alone." Wrote this one. Andy Perkle called me up, and one night it was night over here, and it was daytime, or no, maybe it was it was about 4 o'clock in the morning where I was, and it was maybe midnight here, and he called me slobbering and said, "Well, I wrote this great and I said, okay, great. When I get back, we'll flush it out. So we did, and it's called "Waking Up Alone." It's on the Barstow Romeos record. You can find it out there on anywhere you download music. So, well, she left me on a Thursday, and I cried and I drank whiskey until dawn. It's noon on a Friday, I'm still here, but I carry on alone. Oh, the heartache in my chest weighs me down like I'm carrying a stone. But at least I got more whiskey, and I'm pretty good at waking up alone. And I'll never love the ideas of love again. The one that's got my heart turned out she wasn't my friend. Reflections in the mirror show a man I've never known. that's got my heart. Turned out she wasn't my friend. Honky tonk angels play a game I'll never win. Oh, but at least I got more whiskey, and I'm pretty good at waking up alone. Oh, at least I got more whiskey, and I'm pretty good at waking up alone. So long. There you go. There's a real happy one. I slobber myself trying to hit all those hot licks. I was drooling. Was that kind of wall-eyed looking? How dare you? Hey, we were telling. Okay, so are these people that are watching now? I mean, I know some of my people are, but out of your folks, these are people that, they will be listening to the
some of them
to
are
the
watching
podcast.
it live,
Okay.
and some, and
All right.
probably a greater number of them will see it.
So I guess okay. I knew that. I guess I worded that wrong. So they haven't heard the story yet about our time at the Overton County Bed and Breakfast, have they?
Well, some of them will have.
Some of them will have, some of them will not. Okay, well, for those of you that have, and for those of you that will, so that means all of you. You happy now? You happy? Okay, good. So I wrote a little song about it. Said story. So it may make a little sense to some of you. Lawman is coming, boy, he's got you in his sights. No time to straighten up or to file a ride. You've been running, but they got you this time. Your story don't matter here, we don't care what you do. We're gonna haul your ass in and make an example out of you. You've been running, but we got you this time. Been running, boy, we got you this time. You've been running a long, long time. Now you're at the end of the line. Thought you had it made, but today ain't your day. You've been running, boy, we got you this time. Now welcome to the hotel. We hope you like your bed. Here's some thread to cover up with and no pillow for your head. You've been running, but we got you this time. There ain't nothing here that's too much fun, but you get to sleep all day. Play the cards that is dealt and please enjoy your stay. You've been running, but we got you this time. You've been running, but we got you this time. You've been running a long, long time. Now you're at the end of the line. You thought you had it made, but today ain't your day. You've been running, boy, we got you this time. Now we can't give you a number, cause it's a holiday. Just eat the food that we serve and please enjoy your stay. You've been running, but we got you this time. Rise and shine, here's your clothes, Knoxville's on the way. Y'all come back and stay a while and have a real nice day. You've been running, but we got you this time. Yeah, running, boy, we got you this time. You've been running a long, long time. Now you're at the end of the line. Thought you had it made, but today ain't your day. You've been running, boy, we got you this time. Now Now the back seats are kind of tight for big boys like you. We'll stop off in Crab Orchard and buy you a Mountain Dew. You've been running, but we got you this time. Now, prisoner, he is a man that owes more than he makes. You see, the days and nights are payments for all of his mistakes. You've been running, but we got you this time. You've been running, boy, we got you this time. You've been running a long, long time. Now you're at the end of the line. Thought you had it made, but today ain't your day. You've been running, boy, we got you this time. Yeah, today ain't your day, boy. You thought you had it made. You've been running, boy, we got you this time. There you go. A little special ending on it for you. Thanks, man. So,
full circle.
yeah. Yeah, exactly. So, well, I guess it wouldn't be a Mike McGill anything if we didn't sing a killing song. I mean,
You got like a Knoxville girl.
what's better? Oh, she is asking for it. A Knoxville girl. I'd have killed her. Certainly before the 37 verses they wrote about her. I'd have killed. Verse 3, she'd been gone. I could have took her out. I wouldn't.
Real Sadie
Well, people like to refer to them, as like murder ballads. But, I mean, unless it's just the revenge or the spite, really killing somebody, there's not much fun in it. I mean, so I've been told. But for all you people that are out there who are heartbroken, lonely, desperate, been left down in the deep, deep, dark realms of despair by someone, a jilted lover, someone's lied to you, someone spoke bad about you, hurt your feelings, broke your confidence. This song, my friends, are for you. It's kind of subtle, not quite to the point like Knoxville Girl or some of those old hillbilly killing songs. So you have to listen real close, pay attention, so you make sure you catch it. You can use it for your own interpretation, like any good story should be written. Why did you ever tell me that you loved me when you knew that it was all just a lie? I think that you deserve to, and I'm pretty sure I've got all the nerve to make this the last day of your life. 'Cause I'm gonna kill you, simply gonna kill you. And I'm gonna close your cheating bedroom eyes. I'm gonna kill you, simply gonna kill you. And bury you in a box about half your size. Well, you told me you were just going out to the store, and it seems like a month of Sundays since you've been gone. I've been left all alone here by myself, walking the floor. So you better get ready just as soon as you come in the door. You know why? 'Cause I'm gonna kill you, simply gonna kill you. Yeah, I'm gonna close your cheek real sweet one. Yeah, well, you know, there's no need of giving it all away right at the thing, you know.
If people are smart enough, you don't need to just hit them over the head with it. You know?
Nah, you just whack. Like I said, they were asking for it. No, that was an old Wynn Stewart song from way back in the country music days of old. I was coming out of Atlanta one night, coming back home from a big tour down south, and that would come on the Sirius XM radio, and I said, boy, there's a cheating, heartbreaking, killing song if I ever heard one. I never forgot it. So there you go. You're welcome. What do you say we do? 1, 2 more, 3 more, 10 more, 14 more? What are we doing?
Yeah, let's do another one. If you feel too.
Do another one? Yeah, sure. I'll check my glaucoma.
Yeah. You're the first person to ever administer any glaucoma medication in the
Well, fuck it, man. You know, what are you going to do? Look at me. I got 4 good eyes. I see. You know, think of all the things I can see. So, yeah. Well, you know. I'm like Forrest Gump. Sorry, I messed up your Black Panther party. You know, I don't know what to say.
I use that one a lot, actually.
That was such a good movie.
Yeah. Such a good line.
Yeah.
You can use that one anytime
Yeah.
you fuck up. You know?
Yeah, oh, totally. Let's see here. Just 1 second. I tell you what we'll do, and the reason I say this, we'll do us a little medley. How about that for something special? Yeah, we might give
Thirsty.
Oh yes, thank you so much. We may have to try to get a little. So I mean, since we're on the, since we're all decked out in the Santa Claus suit, should we preface that too, just to kind of tell everybody what's going on for just a minute while I'm stammering around like a lost child wandering in from the story?
You want to do that while I find your song?
Oh boy, I don't like you.
Never.
No, never really have liked you. Quite honestly, I don't know why I keep coming back. No, I've got it. So, so we do you a little mix up, a little mash up, a little thing there. Santa Claus suit. It's Christmas time, December. It's time for the 8th annual Mike McGill's Christmas Spectacular, and this year it will be a solo extravaganza of sorts. Due to the COVID and restraints of gathering people out live, we won't be able to do that, but we'll be able to come to you just like so, in a much more nicer place, much more professional. Certainly, the people will be more enjoyable, or at least one of them will. The other guy here, he's okay, but we'll be bringing that to you on a Facebook live stream on December 18th at 8 p.m. So tune in for that. It's for a wonderful cause. We've been doing it for a while now, and it's for the Food for Kids program through Second Harvest Food Bank of East Tennessee. And they are just incredible. They do a wonderful, wonderful job feeding the hungry here in East Tennessee. So would love for y'all to support that. With $7, you can feed a kid for an entire year, and it would be my goal, as every year, to put them out of business. That's what I want to happen. I want them to all lose their jobs because there's no more hungry people. So we got a lot of work ahead of us if we're going to make that happen. So tune in December 18th, 8 p.m., Facebook live stream, Mike McGill's Christmas Spectacular. You can find it on Facebook. I'm going to make it a public event. You can go to my page. You can also find all the stuff there. We'll be making a lot of big announcements tomorrow. We got some media coverage of it as well from our good friends at Blank Newspaper. with Rusty Odom and his fine staff, and as well as Steve Wildsmith, who is also doing a piece for the Daily Times for all you Blount County folks. So you got no excuses is what I'm telling you. You got no excuses. Don't mess up Christmas. Don't piss me off and mess up Christmas. I'm not going to mess it up, so don't you mess it up. Tune in and do something good for somebody. You'll be a lot happier that you have done that. So I sing you a little song I wrote, and then mix you in a little bit of Christmas songs with that. And thanks a lot, Ben, for having me. I do love you, man. I don't like you. I love you. And you and Sam has been great, and I'll be glad to come back anytime. Tune in and check us out. Become Mike McGill fans. You ain't got nothing else better to do. Sit around, change your mask, wash your ass, save trees. Don't buy no toilet paper. You'll be fine. So I love you guys. Take care of everyone around you, and the people that are around you the most right now. That's family. So it may not be who you thought it was going to be, and it may be the opposite. But take care of each other. Be nice. Love one another. Well, now if feeling low down was a contest, I'd be running in first place. If teardrops were made out of silver and gold, I'd have a fortune running down my face. Well, if I just had back all the women, Lord, mistakes of being drunk and dumb, my hands would be busy hugging and squeezing instead of twiddling my thumbs. You know, if I only had me $1 every time I was broke, well, I'd light myself up another cigarette and I'd watch it go up in smoke. And then I'd buy myself a big sack of weed and I'd give all my friends a toke. And if I only had me $1 for every time that I've been broke. I don't have to be doing this for a living. I could be out robbing your house right now. Well, if heartaches were like hurricanes, this would be a category 5. You know, I would count myself lucky if I ever make it out alive. Well, my rich uncle, he's in the poorhouse, and my ship still ain't come in. And every time that I think I got it made in the shade, well, they cut the tree down again. Well, if I only had me $1 every time I was broke, well, I'd light myself up another cigarette and I'd watch it go up in smoke. And then I'd buy myself a big, I mean a gigantic sack of weed, and I'd give all my friends a toke. Yeah, if I only had me $1 for every time that I've been broke. Now, you know, this next little part here is for all the truck drivers out there. You may know a truck driver. Hell, you may be a truck driver. And if you are, we thank you for all your service and dedication that you've been doing through these crazy times that we've been having over the year that is called 2020. While we're out all having a good time and doing whatever we want to do, you know, these guys are out there on the road delivering their loads. Don't make it weird. You don't know me. I wasn't in Albuquerque last week. I got Christmas tree lights on the cab of my truck. That's where I'm gonna be Christmas. I got nowhere to go, and no one I know that ever needs me around at Christmas. My old truckie and I will be flying high and singing them Christmas songs. I'll be jingling my bells and singing oh well, 'cause I'm out on the road at Christmas. Yeah, we'll stop down in line for some dinner and wine, yeah. That's what I'm gonna do Christmas. Take a minute or so for a little prayer, I know. That's what I'll do on Christmas. But when I leave that cafe, I'll ho-ho away, singing like old Santa Claus. And then it's back on the road, I'll be hauling my load, and I'm back on the road for Christmas. Doodle-doo-doo-doo. 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 Well, I lost my job, I ain't got me a dime. Yeah, my face needs a shaving, my boots need a shine. I'm all hung over, I got a mouthful of cotton. Yes, I have arrived. This must be the bottom. Well, if this is the bottom, then okay, I figured I'd make it here someday. I had high hopes and she sure shot 'em. Yes, I've arrived, this must be the bottom. Doodle-doo-doo-doo. 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 Now it's a lonely old time this time of year when you're out on the road at Christmas. But it's just as well, and if I were at home, I'd have nowhere to go on Christmas. So I'll drive through the night and I'll light up my lights and I'll sing my old Christmas song. I'll be singing Noel and jingling my bells, 'cause I'm out on the road for Christmas. Singing my bells and singing Noel, and I'm out on the road for Christmas. Gotta get that toilet paper up to Kentucky. Not because they're out, because their football team is terrible. And I don't like them. Or their basketball team. Gotta haul it down there to Alabama, too. Yeah, I gotta get it down there somehow. You know what they say. Watch out, Daddy, that's my cigarettes. I tried to clean it up. But then, you know, then you'll be going down to Mississippi, South Carolina. Think they're the real cock of the walk. Probably what I'll have to do is maybe I won't be out on the road at Christmas delivering toilet paper this year in my big rig. May have to leave it all here for Jeremy Pruitt and the Balls. Merry Christmas, everybody. South of Scruffy podcast. Tune in, tell your friends, wake up all your neighbors, do your job, do your part, spread the word. Mike McGill, Christmas Spectacular, December 18th, 8 p.m., Facebook Live.